Well, my thoughts moving forwards are to basically enhance, basically to turn this into like sort of a Wickerman mecca, for want of a better description. The Wickerman itself is very wispy, it's out there on the internet, so what we really want to do is actually give this place as somewhere, as a centre for people to then be able to go out. We want to start doing Wickerman tours, which would basically mean getting with a minibus, taking people around, showing them all the events. We would be using somebody local who would be able to take them around, give them all the details and things like that. So far as the Wickerman bar is concerned, I want to take it back to looking how it was in the movie. So far as the rest of the hotel is concerned, I want to enhance it so that people have a comfortable stay. Do some memorabilia. We've got a lot of glasses here which people can take away from them. So, and also just so that people can actually go around and step by step see the places like Gatehouse of Fleet, Kirkcudbright, Whitthorn, Burrowhead, go up to Ayr to see the castle that was used, etc.
It's a 1973 film, iconic obviously, but do you think there's still the enthusiasm, the following out there to pick up on the type of tours perhaps you're planning?
Absolutely. I mean, if I can give you three examples, a couple came and stayed with us a few weeks ago, and their honeymoon was actually to go around and do the Wickerman tour, which I think took them 2 or 3 days. Gentleman Martin Griffin, he stayed with us a few weeks ago, and he's the wickermanpilgrim.com, and I'm in contact with somebody down in Whitthorn, and she says that she's, to use her phrase, she's very pleased that I am somebody who's got some gumption to actually pursue this. But I think when in the process of buying the hotel, I think one of the things that crystallised my thoughts were the fact that Alton Towers has just built a ride, the Wickerman ride, and they've spent countless millions on it. They brought Channel 4 in to do sort of the whole show, and obviously that is all centred around the Wickerman. But the interesting thing is that the Wickerman goes even further back to a lot of pagan backgrounds.
I must ask, I mean, what are your thoughts on the film? I mean, how aware were you of the whole sort of Wickerman interest before you took over the hotel?
Well, I'd done a lot of research on it, and it is a cult movie. It is, if you actually look at the background to the embryonic stages of the movie back in 1973, it's as much of a tale of tragedy as the actual movie itself, because it never even really took off until 1978 when it made it over to America. I've read the book by, I think it's Mr. Brown or something like that, on the making of the Wickerman. So I think the tale of the Wickerman movie itself, there seems to be some form of Wickerman curse that surrounded the whole thing. What also interested me about this building is that this building used to be used by Christian pilgrims to go down to St Ninian's Caves and Ninian's Chapel, and so they used to stop here and catch the ferry across. And of course now it's used by pagans, so to go to the same place. So it's just sort of an interest between like sort of Christianity and paganism, sort of within the same building.
One senses there, as you said, that you wouldn't actually have taken over this project without the Wickerman background. I mean, that's what this hotel is all about.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Obviously, it is a fantastic hotel. It was built in 1898, designed by a gentleman down in Reading. It's a fantastic building per se, but in order to it's raison d'etre, if you like, within the modern age, and what pulls people in is the fact that there is the connection to the Wickerman. sadly, because of its recent history, let's say over the last 10, 15 years, that hasn't really been pushed as hard as it could have been. So, I mean, I had the people from Dumfries and Galloway Council, they've come out, and their tourism office is hugely interested in the whole notion of pushing this, because you have to, this little corner of Scotland, you have to have a reason to come here, otherwise you're only passing through on the way to Northern Ireland.
And have you set yourself any sort of time scale, Andrew? Here we are sitting in the middle of November. What are your thoughts on getting this up and running?
Well, for the last couple of weeks, I've really been concentrating on just shaking down the business. I think in reality, that's going to take at least another month of just debugging. It's places like buying an old car, just trying to get all the little bits working. So I think it will probably be, I'll start to crank up my thoughts with and my plans probably post-Christmas, I would think, to actually start to solidify things and get things ready for sort of the 2019 season.